The movie starts with a 10-year-old girl, Chihiro Ogina, traveling with her parents to their new home when her father decides to take a shortcut through a rough road in the forest. The family's car stops in front of a tunnel, which Chihiro's father insists on exploring, despite his daughter's protest. At the other end of the tunnel, they find an abandoned theme park with beautiful grass, a lovely spot where her mom wishes they would have brought sandwiches. They find an empty restaurant around with food, and Chihiro's parents begin to eat, but Chihiro refuses. Chihiro then wanders around to a weird, enormous house, where she meets a boy named Haku, who warns her to return across the riverbed before sunset while he holds off the incomers. Chihiro then rushes back to her parents, but discovers they have been turned into pigs as dark, ghostly figures appear around, and she is unable to cross the now flooded river. She sees her town from afar, hoping it's just a dream, and her body begins to fade. A ship with ghosts docks at the river, and she runs to hide in distress, where Haku finds her and tells her unless she eats something from this world, she will disappear. He forces a grape down her throat and she regains her form, and he promises to help her meet her parents. They later then run together into the bathhouse, where Master Haku uses his powers to fly into the building after a toad discovers Chihiro is human. He then uses his powers to give Chihiro instructions in her mind on how to proceed, instructing her to ask for a job from the bathhouse's boilerman, Kamaji, to avoid being turned into an animal by the witch, Yubaba, who rules their world. She finds Kamaji, who refuses to hire her, and he asks worker Lin to send Chihiro to the witch, Yubaba, for a work contract. She goes to Yubaba's room, who pulls her in with her magic and reminds her that her parents were turned for eating the guests' food like pigs. Yubaba tries to scare Chihiro, but she persists and is eventually given a work contract, and she even gives her a new name, Sen. Later, Yubaba assigns her apprentice, Master Haku, to show Chihiro her work, and the spirits are surprised that a human is allowed to work, and Haku hands her over to Lin, who shows her around. That night, Sen gets distressed, and Haku offers to take her to her parents the following day. They head to the pig pen and meet her parents, who don't remember they were human, which also distresses her, as she vows to save them. Haku then warns Sen that Yubaba controls people by taking their names, and that if she forgets hers like he has forgotten his, she will never be able to leave the spirit world, and she returns to her workplace. Sen faces discrimination from the other workers, and only Kamaji and Lin show sympathy for her. While working, she invites a silent creature named No-Face inside, believing him to be a customer. Lin and Sen get assigned to clean the filthiest tub, and Lin sends Sen to get a herbal tag from the counter, and when she is refused, the spirit No-Face helps him out, while Yubaba senses the presence of an intruder. A stinky spirit arrives at the bathhouse to be cleaned, and Yubaba assigns it to Sen for cleaning, while the others mock her. Sen cleans it, and they discover he is the guardian spirit of a polluted river, who in exchange the spirit thanks and gives her a magic dumpling. The river leaves gold behind before leaving, and Yubaba congratulates Sen for bringing them great fortune. It was the guardian of a great river, while Chihiro wishes Haku was there to see that. That night, Lin and Chihiro talk in the balcony, and she bites on the dumpling gifted by the river guardian, which is a bitter taste. Meanwhile, No-Face makes gold and tempts a greedy worker, and then swallows him and steals his voice. He then asks for plenty of food and a bath in exchange for his gold. The following day, the workers make plenty of food for a hungry No-Face, who pays with large amounts of gold in exchange. The land gets flooded, and Chihiro spots a dragon swimming around, chased by birds, and she realizes it is Haku, who crashes and later flies into Yubaba's chambers, injured, and Chihiro follows him there. Chihiro heads into the house and meets with No-Face, who grants her plenty of gold, but she refuses, and the people gather the gold. Sen then climbs from the outside and sees Yubaba entering her chambers before she gets in. A shikigami that stowed away on Sen's back helps her to open the window, unnoticed, and Sen overhears Yubaba calling Haku useless after he was attacked. Sen then finds the injured Haku, whom the workers are trying to dump, and Yubaba's son interrupts her. However, the shikigami that Sen then shapeshifts into Zeniba, Yubaba's older twin sister, and turns the whining Yubaba's son into a mouse, and she asks Sen to keep the secret. Zeniba then explains that the dragon Haku is actually Yubaba's thief, who stole from her a magic seal which had a protection spell. However, Zeniba loses concentration and Haku wakes up and breaks the Shikigami, and Zeniba vanishes. Haku then falls into Kamaji's boiler room with Sen, where she feeds him part of the emetic dumpling, causing him to vomit up the seal and a black slug, which Sen crushes with her foot, and Haku transforms into normality but lies unconscious. Kamaji then tells Sen how Haku went on to learn magic, despite being warned as he became Yubaba's apprentice and got paler. With Haku unconscious, Sen resolves to return the seal and apologize to Zeniba, and Kamaji hands him a train ticket to get there. Sen also confronts an engorged No-Face who only asks for her, and she asks him to go home. She also feeds him the rest of the dumpling, and No-Face follows Sen out of the bathhouse, steadily spilling everything that he has eaten. No-Face then follows Sen and Bo as they travel to see Zeniba, with train tickets given to her by Kamaji while Haku wakes up, and Kamaji learns from him that Sen's name is actually Chihiro. At her chambers, Yubaba grows angry at Sen for her misfortunes and orders her servants to turn Sen's parents into bacon. But Master Haku appears, and Yubaba learns from him that her son Bo is missing and is with Zeniba. Haku then promises to bring back Yubaba's son, but on condition that she send Sen and her parents back to their world. Sen and No-Face then find Zeniba, and she returns the seal. Zeniba then explains how her sister Yubaba uses the black slug to control Haku, but now Sen had squashed it. Zeniba also breaks the spell that turned Bo into a rat and the worker into a tiny bird, but the two refuse to turn back, preferring to play around. She prepares some tea for them, and Sen asks her to help Haku, whom she feels they had met a long time ago, and Zeniba makes her a hair thread to protect her. Later, Haku appears at Zeniba's home in his healthy dragon form and offers to fly them home, but No-Face decides to stay behind with Zeniba and become her helper, while Sen and Bo leave with Haku for the bathhouse. In mid-flight, Sen recalls falling years ago into the Kohaku River and being washed safely ashore, correctly guessing Haku's real identity as the spirit of the Kohaku River that helped her, and Haku sheds into his normal form as they fall. Haku then remembers his real name as Kohaku Nushi, the guardian spirit, and he remembers how Chihiro fell into the river and he saved her. They land at Yubaba's palace, and Bo transforms into her child, to the delight of Yubaba. Haku then asks her to honor her promise to return Chihiro and her parents back, but she has to pass a test of picking her parents from the herd of pigs, with only one guess. Chihiro then looks and says that her parents are not there, and guesses correctly as everyone celebrates, and Yubaba allows her to go. Haku takes Chihiro, but can't get past the grass field and tells her not to look back, while he plans that he will go and quit as Yubaba's apprentice, since he has his name back and will soon go to his home. Chihiro then runs past the beautiful grass and meets her parents, who ask where she had been, and they ask her not to run off like that, not remembering what had happened. She then clings onto her mom as they go past the tunnel, and they find their car all dusty and covered with leaves as if someone was playing a joke on them, while Chihiro looks back the tunnel with some longing. Chihiro and her parents then head back to find their new home, bringing the breathtaking film to an end. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.